got a slip in your palm and a hole in your chest. Black coffee on the felt, man, you look like a mess. 3-team parlay turned to dust in your hand. Now you stare at the chips like they made you this man. But don't you go quiet, don't you fade from the floor. Your name still means something to somebody for sure. Put the glass down, baby. Look at me now. Hold on, hold on. Not tonight, not now. Hold on. Let me pull you out. That fella bites hard, but it don't get the crown.
What's up, everybody? This thing doesn't unmute sometimes, man. I don't know. What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you. Toadstool Sports, Thursday, August 27th. 2-1 on the show yesterday. 3 winning days in a row. I mean, I'll take it. It didn't look good early with the under in the afternoon baseball game, the Phillies-Seattle game. Brian Wu, I don't know what's going on with him, man. He didn't have it. And that happens on the road, but at home, he's been outstanding at home. I don't know how he gave up 6 runs. He gave up 6 runs in the first 2 innings, so 1 more run and that bet's pushing. 2 more and it's done. Well, what happened in that game? Jesus Luzardo on the other side had a no-hitter, I think, into like the 6th inning, and the bullpens didn't allow anything. No more runs scored. 0 runs from the 2nd inning onward, so he still got it right with the under, and it hit on the under 6.5 as well. So if people played that, they still got the win. We also got the win with the Marlins. I mean, not that I'm thrilled about that, but I thought it was the right play. The Red Sox put nothing together offensively, which is kind of gross against Gusto and whatever. But, yeah, Red Sox not good. Miami hit on the I assume it was Gusto, right? Let me make sure of that. Yeah. Yes, correct. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that, yeah, the bet definitely counted and whatever. I mean, sometimes I'm not totally paying attention. But, yeah, so Miami hit in the first 5, and they won the full game. It was 2-0 at the end of 5, 4-0 final. WNBA, dude, I feel like I keep saying it. I think it was bullshit, to be honest. And the back door being open, I think, was correct as part of the handicap. Like, Golden State, they just packed it in, like, early. They went on a stretch, in the fourth quarter where they basically didn't score. The problem was Connecticut wasn't scoring either, but Connecticut had 8 more field goal attempts in the game. I think they had at least 8 or 9 more free throw attempts in the game. So Connecticut had more possessions in the game, and they couldn't even cover a 14-point underdog spread. Like, you have to be kidding me. They shot horribly in the game. They shot like 31%. Golden State, I think, was around 50%, and they were almost shooting 50% from 3 for the majority of the game. You can't do anything about that when you have outliers like that. I mean, I know it's Connecticut. They're bad. It's backup players to some extent, whatever. But you're going to shoot 31%? I mean, come on, man. And Connecticut, I believe they actually did win the turnover battle, although maybe it's not a good sign when you win the turnover battle and you lose. They did not win the rebound battle. But still, when you have 8 more field goal attempts in the game and more free throw attempts in the game, and you can't even cover a plus 14, you know that there are shooting outliers going on in that game, and that is what it was. Like, Golden State hit a ton of their shots. Connecticut missed a ton of theirs, and Connecticut missed a ton of free throws, too. They were like 50% from the free throw line. So if they had hit a few more of those free throws, we would have been in better shape, too. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's not going to be a winning WNBA season. Baseball has been good recently. Whatever. I don't like today's board. I mean, it's a small board today. I'm going to give out a baseball play. Hopefully I'm not forcing it just because I feel like I have to have one play somewhere. I like the play, so I say we go with it. Most of these series are finishing today, so Colorado at Washington. Colorado's won the last 2 games of what is a 4-game series here after Washington won the first game. 2 of the games went way over the total, but that's because each team put up 13 runs in those 2 games. The second game was very low scoring. This game is a little bit hard to predict for me here. I don't like these 2 bullpens. They're both bad bullpens. Washington used 5 relief pitchers yesterday. Colorado used only 1, but I don't trust either bullpen. Washington's 26th, Colorado 27th based on whip. They're both like bottom 5 bullpens, so I don't think it matters which one we really consider to be the better one. Colorado's is more rested for whatever that's worth. Washington is 3rd in offense, Colorado 4th. So these are offenses that can hit. Gabriel Hughes is pitching for Colorado. He's a rookie. He looked good when he first came up, but he has not been as good recently. 6.54 ERA, although his 1.36 whip does kind of indicate that ERA is misleadingly high. Like, it should probably be, I would say, closer to like the 5 range, but he's not good on the road. 9.47 road ERA. Kind of crazy that he's pitched way better in Coors Field, which, whatever, man. He pitched a little bit better last time up, but it was against Cleveland. He wasn't exactly great, and they're not a good offense, so I'm not really impressed by that, but he was worse in the prior 3 starts, so maybe he is kind of trending in the right direction. His hit rate is too high. His walk rate is, I would say, mediocre. Strikeout rate is okay-ish. So his strikeout-walk ratio is nothing special, really. Strikeout per 9, not really anything great either. Washington, it's interesting because he did face Washington in Coors in July, and he held them to 1 run in 5 innings, and it looked like a good pitching line. But Washington's current lineup has 14 at-bats against them. They have a 357 average and 900 OPS, so that is interesting to me because, like, he only has that 1 game against them, so how did that wind up translating into these numbers? I guess everybody that got a hit off him in that game is still in the lineup, and some of the hitters that didn't do anything off of him, I guess, are no longer on Washington's active roster. I guess that must be what it is. 3 strikeouts, 1 walk there. I don't really expect a whole lot from Hughes. Like, just not good on the road, not good current form, not good numbers against Washington, even though his start did look good against them. Jake Irvin is pitching for Washington. He has not been great either. 5.82 ERA, 1.36 whip. So these pitchers have the same whip. Irvin has been way worse at home, 7.86 home ERA. So that had me kind of thinking maybe this is an over, which I would not disagree with the over. I mean, you have both pitchers in the bad side of their home road splits. Neither pitcher is good. Both bullpens are bad as well. So I think most things do line up towards an over in this game. Irvin has been somewhat okay recently, but he still has some walk issues here. His hit rate is okay. His walk rate is definitely too high. His strikeout rate isn't bad, though, so he is a strikeout pitcher to some extent, more so than Hughes is, but his walk rate's really high, so his strikeout-walk ratio isn't that good. His strikeout per 9 is the best that he's posted, but he's had kind of a short season because he was injured in the middle of the season for a while. Irvin, though, he's been good against Colorado. They have 38 at-bats against him, 11 strikeouts, 2 walks, and only a 105 average and 466 OPS. So Irvin might actually pitch okay here. So I think the 2 ways of playing this game are to play Washington. They're about minus 130 something here. They moved up from minus 115. I think there is some real money on Washington here. 70% of the tickets, 83% of the cash on Washington. I mean, even Washington's bullpen's unrested, too, though. So if you play Washington, I think you have to take them in the first 5. You can't really rely on their bullpen. So I think that's one option in this game is Washington first 5, but you're probably going to be looking at a heavier price here and maybe having to lay a half run. But Irvin is the more established pitcher, at least, and does have the matchup numbers where he should be able to get that done. Washington could be in kind of a bounce-back spot after the embarrassing loss yesterday, too. So that's the other thing. Motivation might be more on the Washington side after just a horrific-looking loss at home yesterday. And again, the other way that I would play this game is to just play it over. The total's 9.5, though, so it is above that key number of 9. 68% of tickets, only 58% of the cash on the over. So the money's not really agreeing with that, but there's no way I would play this game under. I mean, it seems like it's pretty much bad pitching everywhere you look in this game, and the offenses are both pretty good, so over definitely makes sense in that game. Dirty Sock, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. Baltimore, St. Louis on ESPN, unlimited. St. Louis is not playing well. They've lost 5 games in a row. They're about to get swept in this series. They got blown out in the first game. It was a return home spot, so negative spot there. We won on the over in that game. St. Louis played better yesterday. It was a crazy game that wound up being an 8-7 Baltimore win. Is Baltimore going to be looking ahead? Well, who are they playing next? I forget. They're playing the A's next, so probably not. Not really any team to look ahead to there, but Baltimore still might get caught here, you know what I mean? Like, usually when you have a home team looking to avoid the sweep, that's the way you want to look. The problem is, it was supposed to be Hunter Dobbins pitching in this game for St. Louis, and he's hurt again, so he's not going to pitch here. So St. Louis has not decided on a pitcher, and I have no idea. Like, they might call somebody up. They might go with a bullpen game. So whatever they do, I think that's the problem here. Like, St. Louis is going to potentially have the motivational edge here, but Baltimore is going to clearly have the starting pitching edge here. And Baltimore does also have the better bullpen. Although Baltimore used 5 relief pitchers in that game yesterday, St. Louis did also use 4. Baltimore's the better ranked bullpen here. They're actually ranked 10th, and their ERA is below 4, so that's not bad. St. Louis is ranked 23rd with a mid-4s ERA. Offensively, Baltimore is also better than St. Louis. Baltimore's 16th. St. Louis is 24th. Tied with the Mets and the Reds. That's probably not a good sign. So Baltimore does, I think, have every matchup edge here. Better bullpen, better hitting, and better pitching because Baltimore is going with Trevor Rogers here. He's turned his season around, man. Again, he was good for Baltimore last year, and it seemed to kind of come from out of nowhere. This year, he wasn't pitching that well, but he's been pitching really well over the last couple of months. 4.14 ERA on the season, 1.24 whip. Doesn't look that spectacular, but he's been pretty good on the road, 3.95 road ERA. And like I said, he's been a lot better over the last couple of months. He's only allowed more than 3 earned runs twice since he's allowed more than 2 earned runs, 3 times, let's say, since the beginning of June. So since the beginning of June, he really started turning everything around. His strikeout-walk ratio has been quite good since then. So he's been in full command, and he hasn't allowed more than 4 earned runs in any of those starts, and that was only 1 time. So he's been good. Baltimore's been winning a lot of his starts as well. They've only lost 2 of his starts since late June. He's got a decent hit rate here. He doesn't really walk many guys, and he strikes out a decent amount of guys. So his strikeout-walk ratio is pretty good, a lot of it because he doesn't walk guys. Strikeout per 9 isn't as good as it was last year, but it is mediocre. But because he doesn't walk anybody, it is sufficient. And he's good against St. Louis, although they only have 14 at-bats against him. 5 hitters have faced him, 214 average, 598 OPS allowed, 3-2 strikeout-walk ratio. We don't know who's pitching for St. Louis, but I think I'd only be able to play Baltimore here, even though I know St. Louis is a home team looking to avoid the sweep, so I don't really want Baltimore, and the money is not agreeing with this. 67% of tickets on Baltimore, 72% of the cash on St. Louis, but what edge does St. Louis have besides the motivation? You know what I mean? If they are negative in every part of the matchup here, yeah, I think that outweighs the situation, to be honest. So I would only be able to look at Baltimore here. They're about minus 120 on the money line there. Maybe that's reasonable. I don't really know. Kind of depends on who's starting for St. Louis. So it might be a wait and see and actually see who St. Louis is starting here. But I don't imagine it's going to be anybody good enough to change my mind on a lean towards Baltimore there. Houston at the Yankees. The Yankees, of course, have the Red Sox coming in next, so I don't know if they're going to look ahead or not. The Yankees lost the first game of the series, and then they won yesterday. So this is a split series here. Houston probably does have a little bit of a motivational edge here because they're really trying to win their division. The Yankees are definitely going to make the playoffs. Doesn't really matter to them as much. Houston is definitely the more desperate team here because they're basically going to have to win their division to make the playoffs. And the Yankees could start looking ahead to the Red Sox potentially. Although I think because the Yankees won yesterday and the Red Sox lost yesterday, there's basically no way the Red Sox are going to be able to overtake them in the weekend series. And that weekend series is going to be really bad for the Red Sox because Tolle and Gray both pitched in the Marlins series at the end of that series, so neither of them are pitching for the Red Sox. They're playing 4 games in 3 days because there's a makeup game in there too. And the Red Sox are pitching Sandoval in the first game of the series. It's just so bad, dude. Like, that's an automatic loss. Even though the Red Sox will have a rest edge, there's no way they're winning with Sandoval on the mound. And then it's going to probably get I don't know. It might get even worse from there. Like, the top 2 Red Sox pitchers aren't pitching in the series. Like, you got to be fucking kidding me. They should have moved Gray back, dude. Like, they should have had Sandoval, or they should have done something else yesterday. Just go with a bullpen game, because the Red Sox are off today. So they should have used a bullpen game yesterday. Just whatever. If you're gonna lose that game anyway. So yeah, whatever. And then had Gray pitch in the Friday game instead. That's what they should have done. Anyway, Yankees used 3 relief pitchers yesterday. Houston used 3 as well. Yankees are the better bullpen here. They're ranked number 2, which I think is accurate. Houston is not bad, though. Houston is 13th, although their ERA is getting a little bit questionable. It is definitely above 4 here. They're not a horrible bullpen, but the Yankees definitely have the better one. Houston's been the better offense. They're number 10. Yankees are 15th, although the Yankees are starting to hit well again. They've been a bad offense, though, for quite a while now. Hayden Wesneski is getting the start for Houston here. He's a little bit hard to predict, I think. He's been decent in the past, and he's had to deal with some injuries. He hasn't pitched that much the last couple seasons. He's still posted all right numbers here. He has a 4.23 ERA this year, 1.23 whip. Not great, but not horrible. He's basically I was going to say he's basically the same home and away, like ERA-wise he is, but he does have a worse opponent batting average on the road at 267, so he is definitely a little bit worse on the road. Pitched pretty well last time against the A's, although his walk number wasn't really good in that one, but he one-hit shutout them through 5 innings. So he's not exactly pitching poorly. His hit rate is okay. His walk rate is, I guess, okay. His strikeout rate is also okay, so kind of a lot of mediocrity here. His strikeout-walk ratio this year so far is lower than it has been throughout his career, so that might improve, actually. And his strikeout per 9, same thing with that. He hasn't been that good against the Yankees, but they only have 5 hitters who face him, 15 at-bats, 6 strikeouts, no walks, 267 average, and 933 OPS. But that's all because Ramos has 2 home runs off him. Like, the rest of the Yankees lineup has not done a whole lot. So one guy is basically doing most of that damage there. So I'm not ready to write off Wesneski here. Yankees have the starting pitching edge, though, because they're going with Garrett Cole here. They're not going to push him back to the Red Sox series. He's got a 3.11 ERA, 1.07 whip. He's been really good at home, although his ERA is slightly higher, but a 192 opponent batting average at home, really good. He's in really good form right now. He hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in any start going all the way back into late July. Hasn't allowed more than 3 in any start since the beginning of July when he really started turning this thing around. He's got a pretty low hit rate. He doesn't really walk anybody. His strikeout rate is also high. Numbers good across the board here. Good strikeout walk ratio. Pretty good strikeout per 9 as well. All those numbers are good. Numbers against Houston are also good. 94 at-bats, 30 strikeouts, 4 walks, 202 average, 533 OPS. I think the only way that I could really look at this game is to play the Yankees, even though I don't really think the situation helps them, but the matchup seems to help them pretty much across the board, except for maybe the offense. But Cole is he's definitely the better starter, and the Yankees also have the better bullpen. So the only way that I'd probably be able to play this game is to find some way to play the Yankees. They're at like minus 150 something here, so it would be a -1 run line situation, probably like create your own -1 run line. Yankees might not bat in the 9th inning, but if they're winning, you'll at least not lose any money on that. 84% of tickets, 91% of the cash on the Yankees. They look public, but it looks like the money is coming in on them as well. The money is also playing the over the 8 slightly. I don't know about that, man. Like, I don't know. I actually think this game seems more like an under to me, especially after the last 2 games went over. People are really going to have a tendency to want to play the over here. So the public is definitely not playing an under in this game, even if it is Cole. Like, they're going to see the high scores recently. These 2 teams can both hit generally, sort of. Although I know the Yankees haven't been that good recently, but that's the perception at least. But I don't know. To me, I think the pitching might actually be able to get the job done in that one to get it under. But I don't want to do it. I still think the Yankees are definitely the best way to play that game, though. By the way, the total in the Baltimore-St. Louis game is 8, pretty much across the board, and money coming in a little bit towards the under in that one, but I think that's going to depend on who St. Louis is starting. You know what I mean? Like, Rogers sets up for it to be an under game, but whoever St. Louis's pitcher is might not be very under-conducive. Kansas City at Toronto. Toronto won yesterday, despite going with a bullpen game. I told you I leaned to Toronto in that game yesterday. Dobnak, I don't even think was really, again, like, he didn't give up that many runs, at least. I mean, that guy, I don't know how he's doing what he's doing, because he should be way worse than this, but whatever. Coming into this game, Kansas City just lost like an 8-game or 9-game win streak, whatever this was. So, I talk about that. When a team loses a win streak, a lot of times they get hung over into the next game because it's like all that momentum just stops and they can kind of lose that same game twice. So the spot here is definitely against Kansas City. So I'd be looking towards Toronto as far as the side, as far as the situation. But I think this pitching matchup actually favors Kansas City here, and that's kind of the problem. Not the bullpens. However, because Toronto went with a bullpen game, they're the less rested bullpen. Kansas City only used one guy out of the bullpen yesterday. Toronto used like almost everybody. They used 7 guys. So I would have to avoid both bullpens in this game. Toronto is the better bullpen generally, but they used everybody yesterday. They're ranked 17th, but Kansas City is ranked dead last. Although, again, they're not as bad as the A's, but they're the second worst bullpen. So I think both of these bullpens are to be avoided in this game. The offenses here are not good, though. Kansas City 21st, tied with the Rangers. What are we looking at? Toronto, where are they? Yeah, they're 28th. Toronto's one of the worst. Kansas City is also not a good road offense, so we are looking at some bad offenses here. Kansas City, I think, does have the better starting pitcher here, Noah Cameron. He's pretty much turned his season around. 4.02 ERA now, 1.21 whip. He's actually better on the road, I think, because Kauffman Stadium having the shorter walls now is kind of affecting him there. But he's got a 3.33 road ERA and a 196 opponent batting average on the road. That's some good stuff. He came off a complete game, 1-hit performance against Anaheim. Followed that up with a 5-inning shutout against Detroit. So he's continuing to pitch pretty well here. The walks are maybe a little bit of an issue, though. He's been really hard to hit recently, though, and his hit rate is pretty good on the season. His walk rate is kind of mediocre. Strikeout rate is not excellent, but it's decent. So really the walks are kind of the issue with him. He has an okay strikeout walk ratio. Strikeout per 9 is not too bad. But yeah, the walks are really the main issue with him. He's good against Toronto, though. So you have Cameron good on the road, good against this bad Toronto lineup. Although they have only 5 hitters who face him, but they're only 3 for 20 off him. 1 extra base hit, a double from Springer. That's a 150 average, 427 OPS, 3-2 strikeout walk ratio. I think Cameron does have the upper hand here against Spencer Arrighetti, who was on Houston. He wasn't doing that well. 4.73 ERA, 1.35 whip. I mean, I think he's a guy that does have talent, but he is also really wild. And Houston let him go or whatever. Or maybe it was a trade. I'm not sure. Kind of weird because you think that Houston, maybe Houston considers him to be like kind of a future guy, like a guy that you need to develop still. So Houston's trying to win right now. So maybe they're just like, whatever. Trade him or something. I don't know. But Toronto picked him up. His first outing with Toronto was not good. It was this outing against the Yankees 6 days ago in Yankee Stadium. I mean, that's not an easy matchup to have to face. You know what I mean? But he didn't pitch well there. Only went 3 1/3, gave up 3 earned runs. I don't believe he started the game. I think they put an opener in front of him. So that's one thing I would be aware of in this game is Toronto might not start Arrighetti here. They might put an opener in front of him. Although because they used so many relief pitchers yesterday, probably they actually won't. But I think if you're going to play this game, I would pick Cameron must start. Don't pick a starter for Toronto because they might put an opener in front of this guy. Arrighetti, though, overall, his hit rate is good. Like, he's hard to hit. His strikeout rate's pretty good, but his walk rate is very high. So, like I said, the walks are clearly the issue with him. And it's making his strikeout walk ratio really bad, even though he strikes out basically one guy an inning, which is quite good. The walks are just an insane number. Like, he has to get that number down. His numbers against Kansas City are also not very good. In 22 at-bats, 318 average, 764 OPS, 8-3 strikeout-walk ratio. So the momentum stopping angle does favor Toronto here. However, I think I got to lean Kansas City here in this one, man. Cameron, you saw the numbers there. Cameron is definitely the better of the two pitchers. Arrighetti, by the way, his home road splits, just to put it out there, he is better at home, 3.05 home ERA, but that was with Houston. Hasn't pitched at home yet with Toronto, but he was much, much better at home, though, the 156 opponent batting average at home. So maybe he's just a home pitcher, and he's just better at home no matter where home is. You know what I mean? Some pitchers are like that. Kind of a mental thing. Who knows? I'm going to lean Kansas City first 5 here, but the money seems to not really agree. The situation, I know, doesn't really line up with it. 56% of tickets, 72% of the cash on Toronto. Kansas City is actually kind of a small favorite in this game, which maybe they're not a deserving favorite. That's another slight issue. If you take Kansas City first 5, which that would be the way that I would lean in this game, is the Royals in the first 5, although I really worry about the fact they lost that long win streak. I think they do have the starting pitching edge, and I just wouldn't want to deal with I don't want to deal with either bullpen here. But, yeah, you're probably going to have to lay about minus 120 something if you play Kansas City in the first 5, but I think maybe that is the way to look here. The total's at 8. The money's pretty much indicating on the over here. It's at 8.5, excuse me, kind of in the middle of nowhere there. I'm not going to really disagree with an over. I mean, if you play it over, obviously you got to go full game with that thing and take advantage of the bad bullpen situation and bad bullpen in that game. So the bad bullpen on one side, the bad bullpen situation on the other side. I'm not sure that the starting pitchers will actually do that bad, though, so I don't know if I love that. I don't know. I think Kansas City first 5 would be my lean there. Milwaukee at the Mets. These teams have split the series, so the Mets took game 1, and the Brewers fired back and won easily yesterday, 8-1. Brewers are obviously the better team, although the Mets have been playing a bit better since the All-Star break. They started playing better when it was too late. Milwaukee used 2 relief pitchers yesterday. Both of these bullpens are pretty good. The Mets used 3, but Milwaukee is the better bullpen. They're ranked 6th, although I think they're like the 3rd best bullpen in baseball at this point. The Mets are ranked 9th. They're pretty good, but Brewers a little bit better. Brewers are definitely the better offense. They're 5th right now, tied with Pittsburgh. So the Brewers have been performing offensively. I believe they're also pretty good on the road, if I'm not mistaken, offensively. The Mets are 24th, tied with Cardinals and Reds. Mets are not a great offense, although they've gotten a little bit better recently. However, offense might not really exist for them in this game because they have to go up against Jacob Mierzowski. And if you want him here, you're going to have to pay a price with Milwaukee, obviously. He's got a 1.68 ERA, 0.76 whip. I mean, when have we ever seen numbers like this, man? I mean, this looks like we're in, I don't know, the early 1900s or something. Like, who sustains numbers like this over the course of a season? I don't know. It's insane. He's basically the same home and away. It doesn't really matter. He's still pitching well. Like, you got to think that the way that he throws so hard. He's got to be wearing down at some point because he's thrown more innings than he ever has before. He's almost up to 150 here, but he's not showing signs of it. He's still dominating in his recent starts and dominating some good offenses here too. Good strikeout walk ratio. He's got a really low hit rate. Doesn't really walk many guys. Has a ridiculously high strikeout rate. Numbers really excellent across the board. We all know this. He's going to win the Cy Young in the NL. I think there's probably no question about that at this point. Really high strikeout walk ratio. Really high strikeout per 9. Numbers against the Mets, though, interestingly, are actually not good. In 15 at-bats, it is a very small sample. 7 hitters have faced him. 333 average, 945 OPS, 4-2 strikeout walk ratio. So Mierzowski might be a little bit vulnerable in this spot. It's possible. He's getting up there in innings, and he is drawing a matchup that he actually doesn't do well with. So something interesting there. Sean Manaea looks like he is getting the start from the Mets, although they sometimes do put an opener in front of him. So if you're going to play this game, I might say pick Miz must start and don't pick a starter from the Mets. I think it's likely to be Manaea, but sometimes they do put an opener in front of him. He's been all right. 4.31 ERA, 1.31 whip, nothing really great. He is a little bit worse at home, 4.37 home ERA. He's been mediocre his last couple starts, giving up too many home runs here recently, although still kind of limiting the runs that are being scored against him. He did have a stretch with 4 good starts in a row. The last couple starts were not quite as good, but they were against pretty capable offenses, though, Washington and the White Sox. And he faced Pittsburgh before that and really did well in that start. But Manaea, I mean, he's generally been pitching all right for the last couple months. He's got an okay hit rate. His walk rate's not too bad. Usually you see more walks out of him, and his strikeout rate is still actually pretty good at 1 per inning. These numbers are not that bad. Strikeout walk ratio is all right. Strikeout per 9 is pretty good, like I said, so not too bad. Numbers against Milwaukee, though, not very good. 57 at bats, 333 average, 938 OPS, 13-4 strikeout walk ratio. I mean, if you want to play Milwaukee, I mean, I think it's just pretty much off the table because they should be the better team here. They got the better starting pitcher. The matchup numbers, even if they're not that good, I think they still favor Mierzowski here. The bullpen favors Milwaukee. The offense favors Milwaukee. Problem is, you can't lay minus 210 on the road, man. If you really want to play Milwaukee, I guess you have to lay the minus 1.5 run line. I don't think I'd recommend that either. They're pretty public. 84% of tickets, 86% of the cash on them. I think I would actually play this game over the total. The money looks like it's coming in towards the under. The total is low, obviously. It's at 7, basically, which, a Miz game, is pretty much always going to have a low total. But Manaea gets some respect in the market as well. 93% of tickets on the over and 90% of the cash. So the over is actually really public here, which I don't know if that's kind of surprising to me, I think. But I think I would still play this game over because there's just no leeway there. And both pitchers have bad matchup numbers. So I think that's what I would do. It might get over, man. It seems a little dangerous, and you know me, I don't like playing overs when the total's that low because the odds makers are pretty much signaling to you this is going to be a low-scoring game here, but I think it might be able to sneak over the total in that one. I don't want to do it. All right, Fox Sports won the televised game between the Dodgers and the Braves. Garrett is probably happy that the Braves have won each game in the series by 1 run, but now it means the Dodgers are trying to avoid the sweep here. And, I like looking at teams that are trying to avoid the sweep. Don't know if I want to do that here, though, because this is an elite pitching matchup here on both sides. So this game is probably going to be close. So I think it's hard to pick a side here. Atlanta's got the better bullpen. They used 4 guys out of the bullpen yesterday, though. Dodgers also used 4. Atlanta's number 4 right now in bullpen. I would say that's probably correct. They're 4 or 5. San Diego's in the mix there as well. LA is 12th. They're an okay bullpen. Hitting-wise, the Dodgers are back in first place there. They're the number 1 offense. Atlanta is number 11, tied with Miami. So the Dodgers do have the better offense. The Dodgers are going with Yoshinobu Yamamoto here. We know he's good. 2.61 ERA, 0.9 whip is really good. He's actually even better on the road. 1.99 road ERA. He's continuing to pitch well. I mean, there's no real mystery here. Like, we know he's good. He's highly likely to be good in any given start. You know what I mean? It's rare that he's not. He's got a low hit rate. Doesn't really walk many guys either. Strikeout rate is pretty good as well. All those numbers are good. Good strikeout per 9. Good strikeout walk ratio. Strikeout per 9 actually has gone down from where it was his last 2 seasons, which is interesting. I don't know if he's changed something, but he's not striking out as many guys, but he's still been really effective. And his numbers against Atlanta, they're pretty good in 32 at-bats, 219 average. The only thing that looks a little bit questionable here is the 762 OPS is a little bit high. He's got some walks in here, 5 walks, 11 strikeouts, not the greatest ratio there, and some extra base hits going on here. Do I think he's actually going to pitch poorly here? No. I think he's going to pitch well. And on the other side, Chris Sale is pitching for Atlanta. So, yeah, like I said, this is a very good pitching matchup. Sale has a 2.2 ERA, 1.03 whip. He's still pitching at an extremely high level, even though he's old. And he is a guy that does rely on velocity. 1.65 home ERA, so he's been excellent at home. He's still pitching well recently. He's not walking anybody over these recent starts here. Still getting a lot of strikeouts, not allowing runs here. Atlanta's not coming through for him, though. They've lost his last 3 starts, and he pitched well in all of them, so it's not his fault. He's getting no run support here. He's got a low hit rate, low walk rate, high strikeout rate. All those numbers are good. Strikeout walk ratio, is really high. Strikeout per 9 is also really high. Those numbers are all really good. His numbers against LA are also good. In 106 at-bats, 33-6 strikeout walk ratio is really good. 226 average, 696 OPS. Sale actually has the slightly better matchup numbers over Yamamoto. But the money's coming in on LA, I think, because they're trying to avoid the sweep here. Yamamoto is the younger pitcher, so there may be a little bit extra upside there. 55% of the tickets, 89% of the cash on the Dodgers. And you're getting him as an underdog, so I think that's kind of part of the reason why as well. The Braves are around minus 120 here. Getting an underdog in a game that's supposed to be a pitching duel like this, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like there's just by default there's value on the underdog, right? Because it's almost a toss-up, and like either team could come out on top here. Although I think if you play the Dodgers, maybe you should do it first 5 only. But if you do it first 5, they are probably going to be closer to about a minus 110 price there on that. It's probably like almost a pick 'em there. But obviously Atlanta does have the better bullpen, so I don't think I'd want to rely on the Dodgers bullpen. Although Yamamoto, he goes deep. Like, that's one thing that he does. He's kind of old school like that. He's one of the pitchers. It's like him, Logan Webb, and like there are only a few guys out there that like consistently go really deep into their outings. Yamamoto is one of them. Now, you know that my thought on this was to play the under, obviously. Like, I would agree this is an under game. 68% of tickets, 72% of the cash on the over, but I would play the under. The problem is, as soon as the number came out at 7, this number got slammed, and it's been 6.5 basically the whole time. I don't think I want to do it, even though I discussed it yesterday in that game that I did play the under where there was a 7 available. And it still went under 6.5 too. Professionals will tell you that there are the stats out there. If you blindly play under 6.5 in Major League Baseball, you come out on top. You actually profit slightly by blindly playing the under 6.5. So that is just a true statistic. I don't like doing it though because that's not my game. I'm not like bulk firing on every under 6.5. You know what I mean? That's not how I do this. Like, I want the matchup to be there. The matchup is there for this one though. I still don't want to do it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just not in my nature, but naughty by nature. No, I am. No, I don't know, man. I want to get that key number 7. If you're going to play the game, I would still recommend playing the game under the 6.5. I think that is still the best way to play this game. It really looks like an under to me. Both bullpens are, I think, good enough. Plus Yamamoto, with his tendency to go deep into starts. Yeah, it looks like a clear pitching duel to me here. So that is what I would do if I was going to play that game. And you know what that means? It means the last game is my only play. I don't know if I'm predictable. Maybe people couldn't predict this. We're going to take Arizona, San Francisco over the 8 here. I think the pitching is kind of ugly in this one, man. So I think we're going to get some runs here, even though I know it's San Francisco. It's a pitcher-friendly ballpark. Whatever. This is a new series, so this is the only game today that's the start of a new series. San Francisco is staying at home. They just lost to the Reds yesterday, and they had a high-scoring game, and you know what that means. San Francisco used a lot of their bullpen, so that's going to factor into this over. I don't like their bullpen anyway. I don't really love either bullpen. I think they're both vulnerable bullpens, so I think that helps us out with the over here. But San Francisco also used a lot of relief pitchers yesterday. They used 5, so this is definitely a fadeable bullpen, and their rest situation is really not good recently. Arizona's rest situation is pretty good. They only used 2 guys yesterday, but I don't love their bullpen, so I'll fade both bullpens here. Arizona is ranked 8th out of the bullpen, whatever, but their ERA is above 4, so they're not, like, infallible. San Francisco, 24th out of the bullpen, not good, plus they're totally unrested, but I think the bullpens might have to come into this game early as well. And you know, when I play overs, it's mostly based on the starting pitching. And if the starting pitching gets knocked out, the bullpens have to come in early. And I think that kind of negates any edge that a bullpen might have. On the Arizona side, they just beat the Cubs. So I think they could be in letdown mode here. Sometimes that does affect the hitting, but I don't know. With they're only having to travel from Arizona to San Francisco here. They're starting a road trip, and usually starting a road trip is actually a focus spot. But Arizona, after beating the Cubs, could actually be in a letdown mode here as far as the side is concerned. Arizona's trying to make the playoffs, though. So as far as the side, Arizona's going to be the team with more motivation because they're in the playoff race here. San Francisco is out of it, but San Francisco, they're not going to overlook Arizona either, in my opinion, because this is a divisional matchup, and San Francisco has the ability to play spoiler here against one of their divisional foes. So I think San Francisco will show up as well. Jose Cabrera is getting the start for Arizona, and I think he's a fade, dude. He's a young guy, but if you look at what he's done in the minors this year in AAA, his numbers are bad in AAA. Like, he has an ERA over 5 in AAA this year. So even though he might have decent stuff, like, if you're not even able to do damage in AAA, you're not going to do that well in the majors. And he's pitched in the majors a little bit this year, and it did not go well. 5.6 ERA, 1.53 whip. That is not good. He was really bad in his road performances, 7.71 road ERA. He had one pretty good start when he first came up against Minnesota, and since then, not good at all. He's actually kind of gotten worse in every start. Had to face Tampa Bay, Milwaukee, and then San Diego. And San Diego, not really that great of an offense, so they've been better recently, but he didn't do well in any of those outings. His numbers are just not really good. He's too hittable here. His walk rate's kind of high. His strikeout rate's pretty low. None of those numbers are good. I know it's a very small sample size, but the strikeout walk number's bad. Strikeout per 9 is bad. Like I said, his numbers in AAA are bad. Even though I think he has like a decent fastball and stuff, I don't know what there is to really like. I think we got to expect that he's not really going to pitch that well here. Even though I forgot to show the hitting. I know San Francisco's offense is bad. I've been saying that. They're 20th here. The Diamondbacks have been a bit better. They're 18th, tied with Philly, and they've been better recently, but I still think the pitching is going to falter here. Cabrera, he just has not done anything impressive here. And again, if you have a 5+ ERA and a 291 opponent batting average or whatever he has in AAA, that is not good. That's not a good sign. Like, he's too hittable in AAA. His walks aren't really that good. There's nothing to like. And Landon Roupe is on the other side. He was supposed to pitch yesterday. San Francisco swapped him out with Logan Webb yesterday, I'm pretty sure. And Webb did not do well. So I don't know what that was about for San Francisco. But Roupe is going to get this start. He's a mediocre pitcher, 4.34 ERA, 1.31 whip. He's a little bit better at home, 4.22 home ERA, but his problem is the walks. He's insanely walk heavy, as I pointed out yesterday. 16-16 strikeout walk ratio this month. San Francisco's lost his last 6 starts. Things are not going well here. He's not pitching well right now. He's not going deep into outings, so you might have to get a lot of San Francisco's already overworked bullpen into this thing, which will help us with the over most likely. He's got a low hit rate, so Roupe is hard to hit, but his walk rate is ridiculously bad. His strikeout rate is actually pretty good. He'd be good if he didn't walk people, but he does. He's got a pretty bad strikeout walk ratio because of all the walks. His strikeout per 9 is all right, but his walk numbers are really bad, and they should have let Roupe pitch. Dude, why would they not let Roupe pitch yesterday when Cincinnati, who they played yesterday, was 0 for 26 lifetime off him? You know what? Fire San Francisco's manager. I could manage this team better. I would have had Roupe just face Cincinnati yesterday. Like, I know San Francisco's done for the season, but still, you want to win games. Roupe has great numbers against Cincinnati in a small sample size. Oh, no, let's push him back and let him face the Diamondbacks, who have a 333 average and 985 OPS against him. What the fuck are you doing, man? He has great numbers against Cincinnati, so let's not have him pitch against them and have him pitch against Arizona, who smashes him. And those numbers are in 57 career at-bats, 12-7 strikeout walk ratio. These numbers are bad across the board. So I think we're going to get runs in this one. Let's do it. Let's play the over in San Francisco, Arizona here. The money seems to agree with me here. 70% of tickets, 93% of the cash on this over. Reasonable total, I think, at 8. It might be between 8 and 8.5 now, but I don't know. I mean, find the best number. There's not much of a difference between 8 8.5. I prefer the 8. Just, of course, I found it at minus 105. So that number was at DK. I'm pretty sure that was just widely available. But it looks like the number's gone up a little bit, and sometimes that happens. Since I started doing the show, man, I'm being stalked, right? Like as soon as I enter my play here as a banner, the market moves on it, man. That's how much sway I have in the market. Anyway, yeah. So that's the play, the over. As far as the side here, the money is actually backing Arizona. 58% of tickets, 73% of the cash on them. They're like a slight favorite. It's like a pick 'em price. If you're going to play Arizona, I think you could go full game with it. They should have the bullpen advantage here, but I don't trust Cabrera. I don't really want to do it, although Arizona does have the motivational edges here. I worry about the letdown off of beating the Cubs, too. But, Arizona, they're in the middle of this playoff race here, and San Francisco is not. However, everybody kind of knows that, right? So when you're in kind of a must-win like Arizona is, a lot of times you have to pay more. Like, it's just built into the line. So, whatever. But, yes, the over in that game is my only play of the day. I'll be right back. I'll talk WNBA, where I do not have a play today, and NFL preseason because it's Thursday. So I'll be back in a second to talk about that. Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What can this slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm gonna burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. All right. By the way, if you listen to yesterday's show, I belch right at the beginning. I don't know if people caught that. It's a little Easter egg in there. Did I do it intentionally? No. Didn't even think it got picked up. I thought the show hadn't actually begun yet, but that's awesome. Maybe get some more views here. Hey, listen to this guy, this sports guy belched at the beginning of his show. All right. WNBA, we have 2 games here. First one is Golden State. They're on a back-to-back, and this is part of the reason why I liked fading them yesterday, because they have a big game on Amazon Prime here today against New York, and now Golden State's on a back-to-back. Do I want to play New York here, though? I don't really want to. I mean, New York's coming off a big win over Indiana, and Indiana was kind of a thorn in their side. Like, New York had lost a couple games really bad to Indiana, so that was a big win for them, beating Indiana. But the good thing for New York here is they have a huge rest edge here, although that's going to be factored into the line, and that's why New York is favored by like 3 points in this game. They would not be favored by 3 points without this rest edge, but New York has not played since Saturday, so they have a huge rest advantage here, and I don't think they're going to overlook Golden State. In fact, I believe they've lost twice to Golden State this year. They lost in Golden State by 9, and here at home, they lost by 17 to them really early in the season. So I think New York is going to show up for this. Golden State, obviously, the big disadvantage for them here is the rest, lack of rest for them because they played yesterday. It was an easy win for them, though, and that was the thing. Again, part of the reason why I liked Connecticut. Golden State had a big lead, and they pulled some of their starters at the end, I'm pretty sure. So they had to get them some rest for this game here, but this is still a bad spot. I mean, look at the travel that Golden State is doing here. This is a 3rd game in 4 days, all in different cities. It's a 4th game in 8 days, I think is what this is, all in different cities. A 5th game in 10 days, all in different cities. And it's actually a 6th game in 12 days as well, although the first 2 were at home. Golden State is at a huge rest disadvantage here. It is factored into the line. I don't love New York coming off that big win over Indiana. And I think Golden State is the better team, and they're going to be an underdog here. Golden State is pretty good on the road, although New York is good at home. New York is better at home. I think the Western Conference is just stronger than the Eastern Conference. I'm going to lean New York, but I don't think the price is really great here. They opened 1.5, and they're already up to 3.5, so some money did come in that way. 81% of tickets, 85% of the cash on New York. It's a low total in the 160s, so the Golden State effect, I guess, with their defense affecting this total. Both totals in the WNBA today are quite low because Golden State and Washington are playing in both games, so those are two good defenses. Yeah, I'm going to lean towards laying it with New York, but I hesitate to do it, man, because I don't love the spot for them. If you're playing them, you're really just playing on the rest edge, and it is definitely factored into the line. Like, this line, Golden State might actually be favored if these teams had the same rest here, even though it's in New York. So do what you want with that info. I'll slightly lean to New York in that one with the rest edge. I think the spot is just a little bit better for them, and it's a little bit of double revenge there. But Golden State does not have a bigger game up next, though, and I thought they'd be kind of focused on this. However, the other thing I will point out, though, these isolated games like this, Amazon Prime, the home team usually does step it up for those games. So the home team, I think, gets a little bit of a boost in games like this. And the other game is Washington-Phoenix, which is a game where these two teams just played the other day. And I liked Phoenix in that one, and it did not happen. Washington won the game by 10. Phoenix has lost 3 games in a row here. Washington's favored by more in this game, so it's interesting. Washington went off as a 2.5-point favorite in that previous game, and I thought it looked way too easy to play Washington, right? Now they're like a 3.5, 4-point favorite in this game, and I still think it looks way too easy to play Washington, the team with the better record here. Nobody's really going to want Phoenix here. Now, Kelsey Plum is injured, and I don't know if she's playing here, and I think that's part of the reason why this line is higher than it was in the prior game. Some of it might just be because of the results. Some of it might just be because Washington won the game by double digits, so the odds makers just shift the line. But that's why the zigzag works, you know what I mean? When you have the same teams playing each other twice in a row, it's like in the NBA playoffs, we play angles like this. A lot of times, whatever happened in that other game goes back in the opposite direction. If we saw some outliers in that first game, a lot of times you get value in the second game because the line just shifts towards the result of the first game, even if that's the only thing that's shifting the line. But the odds makers have gone on to it, and a lot of times they will not move the line like that. We have to see if is Plum playing. I have no idea, to be honest. She is questionable right now. She did play in the last game, but she only played 17 minutes. Looks like she's kind of dealing with some injuries here. Actually, she had just come back, it looks like. She hadn't played since the 9th, so the last 2 games she played were both against Washington. Actually, one of them must have been, maybe she was still on LA in that previous one. No, she wasn't. She was on Phoenix by then. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is there. Anyway, Plum is questionable. You'd like her to play here, but I'm going to lean Phoenix either way here. I think you're getting a little bit of extra line value here. If Plum is hurt, it's an injured player theory spot, right? So when the star player goes down, you get extra value on that team, usually because the line overreacts to that star player being out, and the team a lot of times will step up their level of performance to adjust to that. So I like Phoenix for that reason as well. Washington might just overlook them here because Washington just beat them. Washington's beaten Phoenix the last 2 times they played them, both times with Plum in the lineup, although she didn't play many minutes in either. I think she got hurt in both games, actually. So now Washington's coming off of that. Washington is playing L.A. tomorrow. I don't know that that's really a look ahead, though. L.A. sucks, and they already beat L.A. recently, so I don't know if that's really a look ahead. But I don't see them really paying that much attention to Phoenix here. And Phoenix has the adjustments to make. That's the other reason why the zigzag kind of works, is whatever happened in that first game, the team that won, they have nothing to change because everything worked. The team that lost, they have to change some things, and they usually do. And it was a bit of an outlier. The 3-point percentage was a big-time outlier in this game. Phoenix only shot 18% from 3 in this game, and Washington shot 43%. Those numbers should come back to some sort of mean here, man. I don't think Washington's known as really that good of a shooting team, and They were a plus 18 from three-point range in that one, so that is a bit of an outlier there. Washington did win the rebound battle, though, by quite a bit, so that would concern me a little bit with Phoenix. Phoenix is not really the better team here. I mean, they're definitely not. But it still looks too easy to play Washington. It is still a zigzag. I think there is some value built in here. If you're taking the Phoenix side, that's how I would play it. I would take the 4.5 with Phoenix in this one if I was going to play it. I'm not going to. 88% of tickets, 91% of the cash on Washington. They went up from 2.5 to 4, 4.5. I think that does actually kind of indicate that maybe Plum isn't going to play in this game. But if she does, here's the thing. If you take Washington at plus 4, 4.5, Plum does play, that line is going to come back down to like 2. So you're going to have a good bet. If you take it at 4.5 and she does come back, you'll still have a good number on the game. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's what I would do in that one. All right. By the way, FCS football is starting. I don't do anything with FCS, but there's a lot of FCS football tonight. So people can enjoy that, I guess. You guys can enjoy watching. What was the game I made fun of on Twitter? I don't even think it's on the board. I don't think you can bet it. You can bet all these Division I games, though. It was Hampton against some non-Division I team, Virginia Lynchburg or something. I was like, who's betting that? Hilarious, though. You can bet all the Division I games, though, here. This is FCS, so it's the lower tier of Division I. So, yeah, you guys can go bet Mercyhurst against Youngstown State, man. Youngstown State, 29.5-point favorite. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, and you don't even get market percentages on this, but you can see the numbers. You can see the line movement here. All right. Gary, well, first of all, the Braves got really lucky in the game prior to that, where the Dodgers had a leadoff triple by Ohtani in that final inning and didn't even score him. Yesterday, I don't know what to tell you. I did not agree with. I said the over yesterday, and the over hit. I didn't have a great read on the side, but congratulations, you beat Roki Sasaki. Great. Okay, the Dodgers are better than the Braves still, so good luck in the playoffs. You're not going to get past the Dodgers in a playoff series. All right. And I fucking hate the Dodgers, so I don't really want to say that, but it's true. NFL preseason here. We have this is the final week of preseason, and then teams are going to have a little bit of time off, I believe, for the most part here. What you have to really gauge here is what are these teams going to do? So are the starters going to play is one question. I think, and usually the answer is no. So the way that this works now with the 3 preseason games is usually the starters play a little bit in the second game, and that's kind of the dress rehearsal. They play like the first series or whatever, and then they don't play again. So I think generally we're not going to see any of the starters, like the starting quarterbacks, or anything like that. We're not going to see them in these games. First game is Pittsburgh-Buffalo. I don't think either team has played their starting quarterback at all in the preseason, but I don't think they're going to in this game either. And there aren't really any crazy travel spots going on here either, by the way. So I think the biggest one is Vegas returning from Houston. So it's like, who really gives a shit? Every other team is kind of staying in their general area. This game's on NFL Network. What this game is going to come down to, I think, is like the motivation and what are these teams going to, what are they trying to do in game 3 here, right? So generally game 3 of the preseason, which is the last game now, it's to figure out the final roster cuts. You know what I mean? So a lot of these guys that are on the cusp of making the team, they get played in these games, so you see what they have, you know what I mean? Or if a team hasn't decided on like who their backup quarterback is yet or something like that, that could be decided in this game. In this game, Buffalo's a 3-point favorite here. Josh Allen is definitely not going to play. They've already announced that. I don't think he's played in preseason at all. He doesn't really need to, although he might come into the season a little bit cold. But that means Buffalo is going to get – it's going to be all Kyle Allen and Shane Buckley, however you pronounce his name. To me, that's not great. I mean, Buffalo's won their other preseason games so far, but I still don't like that. Like, it looks like they're trying to win, and that's because they have a new coach here. So both of these teams have new coaches. So that's the thing. Both of these teams have been trying to win in preseason. So I think the motivation will be there, but I don't love the Allen and Buckley combination as much as I like what I think Pittsburgh is going to be trying to do here. Pittsburgh is trying to see what they have with these quarterbacks still. Pittsburgh is 1-1 in the preseason, and they're coming off a bad loss to the Jets. They lost 17-0. So with Pittsburgh also having a new coach here, I think Pittsburgh might actually show up with a better effort here. Pittsburgh looked good in their first preseason game against the Packers, and Will Howard looked good in that game. Drew Aller looked good in that game. Last game, neither of them looked good. Last game, really, or actually, Howard was okay. Well, no, he wasn't. He threw 2 picks. Never mind. Drew Aller was really bad, though. Like, he was just totally off. So that's not good after Pittsburgh was raving about him. However, I think I like Pittsburgh's quarterback rotation here better with those guys in here. Like, those guys might have some talent. They also have Mason Rudolph, who is an experienced quarterback as well. He's probably going to be in the mix a little bit here, too. But Howard and Aller, I think they're going to be out there in this game, see what they got. You know what I mean? Pittsburgh, by the way, we'll see what happens. But Pittsburgh has definitely improved their running back situation by adding Rico Dowdle, who was on my fantasy team last year. That guy's good, man. Anyway, I like Pittsburgh in this game if I was going to play it, but I don't do the preseason. But I think the money agrees with me on this. Yeah, 80% of tickets, only 68% of the cash on Buffalo. Buffalo's a 3-point favorite. The public kind of just goes with who they think is the better team. And yeah, Buffalo is the better team. We know this, but this is preseason, man. And I think Pittsburgh is going to have a little bit more motivation after that ugly loss, and they want to still see what they have with these young quarterbacks. Whereas Buffalo does not have any young quarterbacks they're trying to figure out. Like, so Buffalo might just wind up going a little bit more vanilla here in this game. So I would lean towards taking the points with Pittsburgh. The total's really low, too. It's the lowest total out of all these low totals. All the totals are in the 30s. Again, it's preseason. The totals tend to be low, although these games have been higher scoring the last few years than they were in the past. The lines have adjusted to that, believe it or not. Like, these lines used to be like in the high 20s to some extent. I don't really have a great feel for the totals in these games necessarily, though, unless it's like a situation where I think both teams might go vanilla or something, or like try out a bunch of things. 2021 was some bullshit, like, COVID year. I don't know. Dude, yeah, do you think, are the Dodgers right now the same team that they were in 2021? The Dodgers, look at their fucking starting rotation. It's Glasnow, Snell, Ohtani, Yamamoto. Like, they have so many, Skubal. They have so many good starters that they don't even know who they're going to even have in their starting rotation. Like, the Dodgers are probably going to three-peat, man, even though it's really hard to do that in baseball. I just don't. Who's going to beat them? I mean, maybe Milwaukee. Milwaukee, I think, has the best chance to do it because Milwaukee keeps winning in LA. But Milwaukee's going to be a less experienced team. Like, this Dodgers rotation, not only are they good, but they're all of them are experienced. So, yeah, I mean, they're going to be extremely hard to beat. All right. And the National League is just very competitive in general. And if the Braves have to play San Diego, you know how that goes. Don't the Braves always lose to San Diego in the playoffs? So if that happens, good luck. All right. Although I don't think San Diego's very good. They did bolster their starting rotation a little bit. All right. New England is playing Cleveland. New England's a 2.5-point favorite. You know the public's going to be all over New England. 91% of tickets, 88% of the cash on them. New England's a super public side here. I don't know if Drake May is getting into this game or not. I don't think he's played in preseason. I could be wrong about that. Maybe he did play in the last game. This game's on Amazon Prime, but I would imagine he's probably not playing here. Let me see. Did he play in the last game? New England has won both. No, they tied the Colts, excuse me. Then they beat the Eagles last time out, which was a pretty good win for them against a solid team. Yeah, we did not have Drake May getting into that game. Tommy DeVito wasn't good, though, and Morton looked okay, I guess, so he's kind of interesting. That's the Patriots' draft pick this year. Those guys are going to be playing again here, so Tommy Cutlets, I don't think he's very good, man. He's got some experience, but he's not good. And then Morton might actually have something. He looked good in the last game, but I don't know. We'll see. But those guys are going to be getting the workload for New England here. Cleveland, they announced Deshaun Watson as a starter, so I think that might kind of piss off the backup quarterbacks here. Everybody's pissed off about it, even though I told you he was clearly the better quarterback in the last game. Deshaun Watson, the first preseason game, he didn't really do anything because they kept the offense really vanilla with him. And by the way, the Browns have been awful in both preseason games. They got massacred in both games, especially last time out. which was against the Bills. But if you look at this game, Watson was clearly the best quarterback. No, this is the first game. Watson was not that good in this game. Sanders actually was a little bit better in that game. But the most recent game, I think, was the Chicago game then, right? Am I getting – yeah, I forget which order these games were played in. Yeah, but in the Chicago game, yeah, like clearly – like when they let Watson actually kind of do his thing, he was obviously the way better quarterback out of the three of them. He was the only one that didn't throw a pick. He had more average yards per pass, more yards, higher completion percentage, whatever. So Watson's the starter now. But we know Cleveland's going to be using their backups here. They're going to be using Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, and Taylor Green might get into the mix again in this game too. I think Cleveland's going to try. They've looked so bad during the preseason. They do have a new coach, too, so new coach usually tries to step it up as well. I would lean Cleveland in this game. I know it sounds insane, but I think these quarterbacks are ass. I really do. Cleveland has the worst quarterback room in the NFL, man. It's bad. It's really bad. And I know I thought they would win the last preseason game. I would not really want to have my money on this, but I would lean towards Cleveland getting points here at home against a New England team that really, I don't think it wants to or has to show anything at this point. Although I could be wrong, and it is possible Drake May does get into this game a little bit. But, yeah, other than that, I don't like New England's backup quarterbacks. I think Cleveland, yeah, like those quarterbacks are going to try to redeem themselves, and I think they might be extra motivated, right? Because things can change throughout the season, right? Like, even though Watson's going to be the starter at the beginning of the season, and I think he should be, he might not remain in that position. You know what I mean? So Cleveland's backups still want to do something here. All right, San Francisco and Las Vegas. I don't know how San Francisco is going to respond to the owner issue that they had, Jed York, where for some reason he was in East Palestine, Ohio, which makes no sense. That was the town where that train derailment happened, and they blew up the train, and there was this mushroom cloud of like toxic chemicals all over the place, and a bunch of people probably got mutated in the city, whatever. For some reason, San Francisco's owner was in that city. I have no idea why. But he was what's the term I'm looking for? He was procuring the services of trailer park hookers. It makes no sense, dude. So that's a distraction. I don't know what San Francisco is going to look like in this game. Like, is that going to be a distraction? Is that going to affect them here? I don't know, man. Vegas is coming back from Houston. Vegas had a nice win in Houston where they came back and won, and Aiden O'Connell led that final drive at the end and looked pretty good. Mendoza did not look good, though. So I don't know. Vegas, we're going to see more Mendoza here most likely. Aiden O'Connell probably gets into the game too, but they already kind of know what they have with him because he's been their backup for a while. Kirk Cousins is going to be their starter, and I don't think he's played in the preseason. He doesn't really need to because he's so experienced. I don't know if he's going to play in this game or not. San Francisco did use Brock Purdy a little bit in their last game, and they destroyed the Chargers in their last game. So San Francisco might be feeling a bit high on themselves as well after that. They used Purdy in that one, so I assume they're not using him here. So it'll be more Mac Jones and who else do they have? I can't remember. Mac Jones has looked okay, I think. Let me see. And they have, Curtis Rourke, but he's questionable right now. He was the Curt Cignetti guy who played at Ohio and then at Indiana with Curt Cignetti. And they do have Adrian Martinez, who was at Nebraska and Kansas State and whatever, and kind of a dual threat quarterback. So I don't know. We'll see what this backup quarterback rotation can do. Vegas, I think they're going to try to get Mendoza some more work here because he's their quarterback of the future. They don't want to get him hurt, but I assume he's going to be out there. Probably more O'Connell, and then I have no idea who Jacob Clark is, but that's going to be your rotation there. San Francisco might have the somewhat better rotation here. Vegas is favored at 3.5, although the money's coming in at San Francisco along with the public. 65% of tickets, 84% of the cash at San Francisco. I kind of lean Vegas here, man. I mean, it looks too easy to take San Francisco, right? Like, oh my God, I'm getting the better team with the 49ers, getting points here against the Raiders. It looks too easy to do that, so I would probably lean Vegas here. It looks like the odds makers are kind of telling you that San Francisco is probably going to have some guys not playing. We know San Francisco has a lot of injuries right now, too, so they're going to start the season injured, I'm pretty sure, which is not good because I like San Francisco to kind of bounce back. this season, but now with the owner thing that's going on and whatever, I'm glad I didn't give that out as an actual one of my top season win totals, because I did mention I like San Francisco to go over their season win total, but it was not one of the ones that I thought was the absolute top. So glad I didn't put it on there. I think it was my 5th best. And it was one of 3 overs that I liked, with Detroit being my favorite of those, and then Kansas City, I think, was the other. Anyway, but I liked those 2 unders better, with Chicago and New England to go under the season win totals, with overperforming last year and having easy schedules. Anyway, I would lean towards Vegas here, but the money is coming in on San Francisco. You could argue San Francisco's quarterback rotation might be a little bit better here, but I don't know, man. I don't have a great angle on that one. Out of these games, I think maybe Pittsburgh is the best way to look. After getting shut out in their previous game, there is still that kind of like bounce back mentality, even if it's preseason. You don't want to lose like that. And then we have LA, the NFL Network Game 2 late night game, Rams-Chargers. The Rams looked really good in their last game. They demolished the Saints. The Rams have won both preseason games. Sean McVay, I didn't really think took preseason that seriously. I mean, he doesn't really play his starters. That's what he's known for. So I don't think Matthew Stafford is going to get into this game. Chargers did actually use Justin Herbert for like one series in the game against the Saints. So I would assume he's not playing in this game either. So I think we're going to see backup quarterbacks in this one. The Chargers did not look good. They got destroyed by San Francisco. So just because of that alone, that has me kind of leaning towards the Chargers here. Plus, I think the Chargers are going to get up for a game against the Rams, because the Chargers are always kind of since they moved from San Diego, they're kind of the second team in LA, you know what I mean? So they probably kind of resent that. They feel like the little brother to the Rams, who are kind of LA's team, you know what I mean? Even though the Rams were in San Francisco for a while, they were originally LA, so... and the Raiders actually were for a while, but the Chargers were always San Diego until recently. So the Chargers might get a little bit up for those reasons. Rams might just not care as much about this game at this point, man. Probably looking ahead to the regular season. They've been using a lot of Stetson Bennett the fourth and Ty Simpson. They do have Matthew Caldwell as well, who I think is a young guy as well. They're still rolling these guys out and seeing what they got with them, man. And I thought Simpson was the guy who was supposed to be the guy to take over after Stafford. And I thought Simpson might have something there. I don't know, but Bennett has moved ahead of him in the depth chart, so I don't know. But we're going to definitely see both of them in this game. And that might be a decent thing for the Rams. So that's the thing. I think the Chargers might have a motivational edge here, but I don't really like their quarterback rotation at all, where it's going to be basically Trey Lance, who has been in the league for a long time. They don't really need to see anything with him. And then DJ Ugalele, who's been in the league for a few years at this point, and I don't think he's very good. So the quarterback rotation is clearly better for the Rams here. I'm going to lean Chargers slightly, and the public is on the Rams, but the money is also on the Rams at plus 3.5. 64% of tickets, 86% of the cash on the Rams. So the money is indicating on the Rams, but you see the Rams getting 3.5 points. Everybody's going to look that way, right? Because everybody likes the Rams. The Rams almost won the NFC last year. They've been good for the last handful of years. They're considered to be the Super Bowl odds-on favorite this year. So everybody's going to like the Rams, in my opinion. Like, you would think the public is just going to be on the Rams here, taking the 3.5. The public never likes the Chargers because they play hardball ball and, like, slow the pace of the game down and whatever and play kind of methodically and, like, smart football, you know what I mean? I don't know. But, yeah, I would probably slightly lean Chargers here, but I really hate their quarterback rotation. I really do. Regular season with Herbert in there, I'm going to like the Chargers, and I'm probably going to have some plays on them. But, yeah, in this setup, I don't love that quarterback rotation. Situationally, I like the Chargers to bounce back from that bad performance. Rams to maybe not give as much of a shit after that blowout win they just had. But the Rams have the better quarterback rotation for the preseason, just in that we're going to see what those guys have. You know what I mean? That's going to do it, man. My only play of the day is in baseball, Diamondbacks Giants over the 8. Bad pitching, in my opinion, in this game. So we'll take that game over. That's my only play today. I almost skipped the board entirely today. Sometimes it happens on a Thursday, but I like that one just enough to put it on there. Hopefully we stay hot and get another winning day out of it. One play, so we either get the win or the loss, and it's either a winning day or a losing day, but it's only one play, so whatever. That's going to do it. I appreciate it, everybody. Learn to Toad on Twitter. Learn to Toad on Instagram. I appreciate everybody dealing with my stubbornness and assholishness and whatever. It's the draw of the show. No. What else we got? Listen to this show, obviously. Like, subscribe. Listen on audio, Apple, Spotify, Spreaker. But like, subscribe, and you'll get notified when I go live. The NFL preview content will be coming, although I already did some, but we'll have more upcoming. Covered in Uke is my Uke channel on YouTube. Ukulele covers. Not ukulele, DJ Ukulele. Maybe I'll change my name to DJ Ukulele. Dude. That makes some sense because it's like a DJ. Yeah, DJ Ukulele. I like the Covered in Uke name, but I don't know. Maybe that could be the name of my channel, but I can call myself DJ Ukulele. But if I do that, I have to change the name of the channel. I don't know. My mind's going everywhere right now. I'm out of it right now. This is what happens when you don't get enough sleep. Patreon.com/LearnToToad if you want to support me that way. Losercast every Tuesday night. We had an episode the other night that was pretty fun. And New York Giants G-Spot podcast, I assume will come at some point. That's going to do it. Yeah, I did a college football preview if you want to go check that out, although I'm a dumbass, and I think I got a couple of things wrong in that show. Although I think my opinions on where the value is, I think, stand, though. And like generally, I think I gave a nice like overview of like the kind of the new landscape there. But you know me, I'm a game by game better. Like I'm not really a futures guy, so I'm looking at individual situations that come up in individual games or whatever. So we'll see. We'll see if I have any week 0 plays because that's coming up. Friday night I'll probably do that show and talk about Saturday's week 0 FBS football games. I think there are 6 or 7 of them or something like that. So it'll be a quick show, but. Before we get these like 2-hour-long shows that I wind up having to do, I don't talk about every single FBS game though. It's college, it's way too much, but I talk about all the big games, the ranked games, then I talk about like the ones that I actually have like better opinions on basically, and I'll talk about other games that people shout them out in the chat. But hopefully we get some more viewers here, get some new numbers because people love football, so that's coming. Let's get this win today. That's gonna do it. Peace.
If the dark starts talking, hand me the phone. Let somebody answer, let somebody know. You do not have to lose this round alone. Hold on, not tonight, not now. You're still here.